I'm happy to introduce our next session and our next panelist. It's going to be more of a panelist style session. So you get to hear a range of voices on the topic of AI. So I'm really excited about this. So we have Geng Wang, who leads a team at Civic Champs. He's the CEO and co-founder at Civic Champs. And they build tools that empower nonprofits and their volunteers to serve communities easier. And he's also an entrepreneur himself. He previously co-founded Rent Jungle, which is an apartment search engine, and Community Elf, which is a social media management company. So that was pretty cool. And he's also a graduate of Michigan State University and Harvard Business School. Joining him will be Susan Tenby. So she is the community, and she leads community and partnerships for Techsoup's membership program. And she's also a Techsoup vet. She's been with the organization since it launched in 2000, actually. And we have a close partnership with Techsoup as we like to share our resources with their nonprofits that they help and serve. They're an incredible organization that provide really great free resources to a lot of organizations. So I'm happy to have her bring her wealth of experience in connecting with organizations to the conversation today. And Susu Wong, who's the founder and chief connector at Tomo 360, which is a certified minority, women, and LGBTQ owned business. And so she's great on the marketing front. She has a lot of experience as a marketing professional. She's co-founded the Women's Accelerators, which is a nonprofit dedicated to advancing women's careers. And so I will just welcome them, and I hope, yeah, you'll give them a warm welcome in the chat here. Are Susu and Geng here?
Hi, Jenna.
Hi,
Thank
Susu. How are
Thank you
you?
for having us. How are
Yeah,
you?
no problem.
Great.
I can
Yeah, I'm here as
add
well,
your name real
Jenna.
quick here.
And do we
How's
have,
your name been? Or sorry, how's your day been going?
Good, good. Yeah, I just made it home and do the presentation. I'm really glad to be here.
That's so great. Yeah, where are you located now?
We're just right outside of Boston. We're in my office is in the city of Lowell, Massachusetts.
Oh, wow, I've heard it's
Yeah,
beautiful out there.
it is. It's a beautiful day. Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. What sort of interests you in this, like the session that you're going to talk about? What's
Yeah,
one
great
you're looking
question,
forward
Jenna.
to?
Yeah, as a marketer, we do a lot of market research and finding information, using Google. And, we've been experiencing using, AI, and it has helped us tremendously in terms of saving us time, getting information, and customized information for us. So I thought we can share some of the tips that we've been working on with the others.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Gun. The different
well,
outside now.
yes, it was, I want to make sure we didn't have too much background noise.
Oh, nice.
Traveling.
Oh, gotcha. That sounds like it can be a little hectic, but thanks for making time to be here with us.
No, of course.
Yeah, I'm curious, like everybody in the chat, what is something you're sort of curious about AI? Maybe our team of experts will be able to answer your questions during their presentation. Because the world of AI is kind of like really growing quickly, I think. Or maybe you can share more of your insight into that too, but so fast and sort of all consuming. Like I just go to my AI bot and like ask them for directions or ask them for anything, and it happens so quickly. Oh, Shay says, how do I protect my organization's intellectual property while using it?
Yeah, that's a good one. I would, most of the, I think the tough part is, a lot of the AIs have already probably scraped or taken a lot of the IP from your from your website and whatnot, and that's obviously a very contentious issue. You should know that anything you share with
Mm.
OpenAI or otherwise, generally like they have access and rights to use. I think it's in their terms of service. You can pay a premium for some of these services to have kind of more of a garden off environment, and that's what a lot of the corporations do to kind of help protect their IP, if you will. So. But yeah, that's a great question. I don't know, Suzu, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree, Gong. You definitely don't want to share proprietary or confidential information with ChatGPT and or AI because they will use those information and it's going to be around everywhere. Yeah, and if you want to use upgrade to a proprietary version, like if you have go to like companies or universities, they'll have their own AI where it doesn't get shared outside the firewall.
Yeah, that's helpful to know.
Mhm.
It looks like we have a lot of questions coming in. I don't know if you, Susu and Gung, you plan to answer any of these during your presentation. No need to feel
Yeah.
like you have to answer them now, but it looks like people are curious how to connect AI with fundraising specifically outside of just generating like social media posts or,
Right.
anything
I think
general.
I think for us, what might be interesting, the way Susan and I were thinking is we could actually give people a bit of a demo, instead
Mhm.
of just answering the questions, right? If we could share our screens and, I think we were going to talk about Copilot and then ChatGPT and how to use the different things. And then I was going to actually show people how to use Lovable. If you're a little bit more adventurous and want to try a hand at quote unquote vibe coding, super
Mm.
fun. And so that might be a way for us to answer some of these questions as we go along. What do you think, Jen?
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of waiting for Susan to join. If you want to start, do you think it's okay for either of you to start and
Oh,
then she can join later? And
That's true. We just
yeah.
technically it's only 12:45 now.
Yeah.
yeah. Up to you. I'll let you you can begin, whichever part you want to share and I'll reach out to Susan. So yeah, take it away.
Okay.
Susie, do you want to? I think you were going to go before me.
Yeah, sure. I can start first. What I'm gonna plan on doing is using ChatGPT. I actually just upgraded to ChatGPT 5.0 and did a upgrade. So I'm doing using a paid version. And as you know, when you are a nonprofit, right, fundraising is always a thing to do to like raise funds, especially now the funding, the budget is somewhat limited. So what I'm going to show you is using some prompts to find donors list and finding messaging and content, so then it'll help you to save some time to find donors. Jenna has mentioned that I'm um, also have a nonprofit called Women Accelerators. So, we actually had a couple of fundraisers, one this year. And, had I known I was using ChatGPT, I think it would make my life a lot easier. So I'm going to demo that. I kind of prepare some of the prompts already. So you may see me, grabbing the prompt and going into ChatGPT. So just 1 second, let me get that. Oops. All right, so can you see the screen?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah. So what we're trying to do is, let's say, this is a research prompt finding donors, right? We want to list 15 medium to large companies headquartered in my area would be a Lower Mass that have a history of supporting community causes, and I, want to have a specific purpose, for an event. And I want to find names, company size, industry, and some of the goals for the charity fundraising. You can identify high net worth donors by interest, like what kind of causes they like to support, what kind of affiliations they are, and then give me a list of foundations in the area with the focus area and what will be the average grant size, and then give me some demographics. All right, so as I mentioned, I have an organization, nonprofit, 501c3, and we are focused on helping women with the career advancement, and we're having a fundraiser. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna click this. I'm gonna go to ChatGPT. So it might take a little bit. So this is as I mentioned, ChatGPT 5. And so it's coming up with the answer, but I have already prepared it. So what happens is these are the organizations, UKG, Maycom. So these are all the companies and hospital and banks, universities around my neighborhood, and it also lists their email addresses and some high level notes, and so that's what it comes up, right? Oh, it's still thinking. So it's a good thing that I started that because it's a big list. And then the second thing I wanted to do was okay, this is great. These are the low headquarter prospect list. So the next thing I want to do is this you can count, separate into medium 50 to 499 employees, and these are the strong prospects. So these are the banks. They frequently sponsor locally, even though they don't have a headquarters in Lowell. So if I go back here, let's see if they come up with that yet. Oh, it's still thinking. They're refining company list. So the next thing I did was asking, what would be a subject lines that work for sponsorship opportunity? So tell me, what would be a good paragraph to do that? So draft a small plug and play email for each of these segments. Maybe if I go back here, maybe it'll be faster. I don't know why it's taking so long this time. Okay, so they're still reviewing. So maybe I can ask, I'm considering including companies like Markley and Greener Blast, but they don't need the company size. So maybe I can ask, can you create an email customized to medium size companies? Okay, got it. So here's the email. So it gives you a subject line, the message. I hope I on behalf of Women Accelerators. So you can fill in the date and when is it, and so create that for you. And then you can also ask ChatGPT to adapt this to a larger company. So let's just say I want to adapt this to banks with emphasizing DEI. Emphasizing DEI. So you get the gist. here's a bank focused sponsorship email, right? And you can also create a spreadsheet, for the list. So create a spreadsheet for all the donors in a table. Let's see. I think when it comes to analyzing, it takes a little longer because it's a lot of info, but eventually you'll get that. So I found this to be a very helpful tool because then you don't really need to find research. But what I'm cautioned about is to make sure that all this information are vetted with other databases. So this is the spreadsheet that you can just download, and you can download the table. So that's very helpful. And it's a good start. And so that's what I have. Any questions? I'm gonna stop sharing.
Looks like Barbara had a question, Susie, for you that, is the free version, does that pull of ChatGPT, does it pull real-time information versus just a scrape from a few years ago?
So the 5.0, the 5.0 is more current. But when I did the list, it was 4.0, and I actually check all the information, and they're pretty accurate. What I want to caution us about is, the individual names, to make sure that they're still, for lack of a better word, that they're still current or alive. So those are the things that you want to check. But just to give you what we did for our fundraiser this year was that we really searched, like we Google search a lot of banks, a lot of different organizations, and then we have to find the contacts from each organization, which was so time consuming, and a lot of them are not valid. So I think that, versus, searching yourself or using ChatGPT, I think ChatGPT is going to give you a much faster way to do that.
David also asks if there's a list of example prompts somewhere.
Yes, David, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, we put it together in a guide. So I put all the prompt into a document that we can share with you.
Awesome. And hi, Susan.
Hi,
Susan.
sorry about that. That technical difficulties thing happened to me. It's the first time it's happened when I was presenting, or the computer crashed right as I was going. So sorry about that.
No.
It happens. I've heard it happen to people. It happened to me today. So here I am.
No, super excited to have you. The three legs of our stool would not be complete otherwise.
Thanks for, is it my turn to demo, or is it your turn?
I think it probably makes sense for you to do it first.
Okay.
Before
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Again,
dig in.
apologies for that. I panicked.
problem,
I was
Susan.
shaking like, no.
You're here.
Yeah, and now I'm awake. Hello, Jenna. Sorry about that. My computer crashed as I was logging in. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen. You guys can see my email right now, I assume. Yes?
Not
No,
yet.
not really.
Oh, I'm
Not yet.
sorry. My bad. Now?
Yeah, give it a. Yep, now we can see it.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to quickly demo Microsoft Copilot, and I'm talking specifically about Copilot Pro or Advanced Copilot. You can get it through Techsoup. I'll drop the link in after my demo before or as Geng is starting. I will drop in the link where you can get it. It's important that I clarify that this is the Pro version of Microsoft Copilot, because the free version doesn't do any of these cool things. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to try the schedule with Copilot function. So I'm going to use a thread. I will try, I actually don't even know what this thread is, but I'm just going to click in here. This is an email that just came in. I'm obviously like, don't read it. And then you click on the 3 buttons here, and you can say, first of all, the Copilot will summarize the meeting for you. And you can also do these other reply actions, and you can schedule a meeting with all the people in the thread with Copilot. So you just do that. And then it will, because you're using the Pro, it will look at everybody's calendars in your organization, and it will find a space right here where all of you are available. And you can do that. You can also go in, it will include all of the documents and a proposed agenda. It will summarize what's happened so far, and you can choose to insert that or not. So that's a really great function. You can also not do that. You can just click out of that, and you can click out of that, and you can go directly into your, I'm clicking out of this because that's not really happening. I'm discarding that. So you can go directly into your calendar, and you can also choose the way that this Pro version of Copilot works is it integrates with your Outlook. So it reads your emails, it can read your calendars and everyone in your organization. So if that's what you want, you can go in here and you can just say, schedule a meeting with me. I'm just going to do it in real time. Gerard is my boss. So I can just do that. And it will go and look. So you no longer have to go and compare like his calendar, your calendar, layer them over. It just does that. So it says, what would you like the topic to be? And I'm going to say, meeting with United Way, because we've been talking about that. So it will know, and it will read all of our emails about the United Way, and it will, it's actually, that's interesting. So, and this is the deal with live webinars is sometimes they don't work. And this is confusing United Way with Unite Us. So that's not what I want the meeting to be. So I'm going to say, let's say, American Red Cross. Okay. So it will, so of course, this is a good lesson in that generative AI is not always accurate. So you definitely need to think of everything as a draft that you have to review. So it's okay. Meeting will be about Red Cross with Molly Schmidt, because that is a meeting that actually did happen. Okay, so it will, it's thinking, basically. Think about it as it's thinking. It's looking through my past emails, and yep. So here we go. So now it has linked the potential meeting. It looked through the key takeaways from the last meeting. It gives an overview. It reviews. It will also, if you want it to review, like it can help you prepare. So let's say I want to prepare for the meeting upcoming with my boss. So it will help me prepare, and it will do that very, very quickly and easily by, again, it's doing something weird. So I'm going to say, here, I'm going to do a different one. Help me prepare for meeting with, for meeting with United Way this afternoon. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. And it will, don't you love live demos? With the inaccuracies that happen, and yeah. But here he goes. So this is happening. This is a real meeting. It's at noon today. And it is, so it will include all of your previous emails. And if you say that you would like it to, like you want it to prepare an agenda, or and then after, and you can say, draft me an agenda, summarize key points, or help me prepare talking points for the meeting. And then let's say that we, just in the interest of time, let's say that during the meeting, and I wanted to mention this to you. So during the meeting, I always start the meeting with, is it okay if I record this meeting? And it will record and transcribe. Then you take the entire transcript, you highlight it, you copy and paste it back into Copilot, and it will summarize what happened, deliver the deliverables, the to-dos, who has what on their plate for afterwards. And it will also tell you next steps based on the transcript. So that's really helpful. It will, so it can, you can draft the agenda and you can put it into your email. So we've talked about meetings. I'm going to move on to the next topic. So that's super easy way to do it, saves you a lot of time. So the next one, just in the interest of being meta, I'm going to say, I'd like you to draft me an event description. Draft me an event description for an event about about fundraising for nonprofits using AI, because that's what this event's about. So it will review previous documents. What's great about this Copilot is it also looks at stuff you haven't even generated across your organization. So it will say, hey, I know that we had this event about this, and it comes up with a title, and it comes up like, this didn't ever happen. This event has not happened for me. So it's just making this up. So it's great. It's a great I always think of it as a great first draft. And then it goes to bonus resources. And these are things that actually these are artifacts or, web pages that exist and emails that exist across my organization. So like yesterday, I found something that was relevant that I didn't even write. So if it's shared up in the shared drive. So it gives you some resources and some tips. And then let's say, and it's asking you, would like me to turn this directly into an Eventbrite, a registration page, or a deck? So you can choose to do that. And you can also say, make me social media posts for LinkedIn about this event. And it didn't go in here somehow. Make me a social media post on LinkedIn about this event. And it will do that very quickly with hashtags and emojis. And these are great. I think it does a really nice job. It keeps it at the right character link for each platform. So that's, and then you can do the same functionality with, once you record the event, you can take the entire transcript and dump it into Copilot and say, make a blog post about this, what happened in this event, make a follow-up email that recaps the event with a link to the event recording. So what used to take a long time to summarize, you can do in a matter of a minute. But again, remember that generative AI does hallucinations sometimes, so just check for accuracy. Click all the links because the links sometimes are not accurate. And I do not recommend doing when it asks you, would you like me to dump this into a PDF? Or a Word doc, I never do that because the formatting gets weird. So I generally do it like this, and then I just click this, copy response, and I get the response. And you'll see this is all still in Outlook. This is the beauty of this, is you don't have to go to copilot.microsoft.com. You can just go, it's all within your Outlook if you're using Copilot. And the final, and I know I'm at time. Do I have time to do one more quickly? I think I do.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my final task I'm going to show you guys, and sorry, I'm talking quickly, but it's the hazard of me having been late. So this is nice. You can use it for funding prospect research and proposal. So I'm going to, you can use it to make concept notes and to do some research. So for this one, I'm going to say, because in my volunteer life, I am on the board of directors for the Castro Street Fair here in San Francisco. So, so I'm going to say, and that's an LGBT forward street fair that is in the gay neighborhood of the city in which I live. So I'm going to say, find me a sponsor and you can do typos and it understands you, or funder or foundation for a LGBTQ Q plus street fair, whoops, in San Francisco, called the Castro Street Fair. A moth just went on me. Whoops. Okay. And I did a typo and it doesn't matter. So see, it corrected it. So it's looking, so it's giving you leads that relate to what you've already done in your organization. So you might, that's great, because you might have a relationship and you've already written a document that it can rewrite. It also gives you some connections over your emails. So that's interesting, because you might have a relationship there. And it's also finding external organizations that you may not have known about. So I didn't, for example, know about the Rainbow Fund. And so now I can see if that's relevant. And it will, this is really wonderful, is it will look at past grants that people in your organization may have written to the funders that they reference. And it will ask you if you would like help drafting the pitch. So then you can say, yeah, draft it. You can write an outreach email, or you can provide more details on the fund. So if you say draft a sponsorship pitch, it's that quick. You can do whatever you want. These are just suggestions here. You can say something entirely different, like rework my San Francisco Foundation grant for this specific foundation, and it will. And then you just look through it. And then what's great, again, this is always just a rough draft. Think about Copilot as an intern, not an employee. So you need to train it. So you can say, make it a little bit more friendly in tone, but you can also just share what it comes up with your colleagues. So you can just do this, or you can just share it this way. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and pass it to Geng. Are there any questions? I don't know, but I want to make sure you have time to do your demo. So
yeah, we were talking. I think Susu and I tried to answer the questions in chat while you were going, so I think we're okay for now. But obviously, we'll have time at the end. Oh, Susan, you're muted.
yeah, I will drop that link to get the Copilot through Techsoup in the chat.
Nice. Always great to get the discounts. Awesome. Yeah, so my name is Geng. As folks, Jenna mentioned earlier, I'm the co-founder of Civic Champs. We do volunteer management software for nonprofits across the country and Canada. By country, I guess I mean the U.S. That was a very U.S.-centric statement, I realized. But yeah, super excited to be here. And so what I wanted to share a little bit today is how you, like myself, as a non-technical person, can create your own apps. Right? It's kind of like, I didn't believe it could work when I first sort of embarked on this little test journey. But the technology is truly amazing. And so today I'm going to showcase a platform called Lovable. They're based out of Europe. They're the fastest growing European startup in history. And you'll quickly see why that is. But basically, it allows anyone, just like you chat with ChatGPT or Copilot in normal words, you can ask it to make you something. Okay? You could say, hey, I have an idea. I would like you to create a game for me. The game is going to do da 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 and etc. And it'll actually make the thing you want. And so I was dubious whether this would work, but I tried it myself, and I want to share today kind of one of those outputs and also some tips. And so let me share my screen here. I'll share the full screen so you can see everything. And so the first thing I did actually is, I mentioned this earlier, one cost-saving initiative is I actually share a ChatGPT account with my wife here. So, but here, what I did is I actually used ChatGPT to help me create the right prompt for Lovable, right? So you could just go directly to Lovable by yourself, right? This is kind of, here, we'll go there. This is what it looks like. It's kind of like a Google-like form here, and you just type, right? Like, ask Lovable to create an internal tool that blah, 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 blah. Create a dashboard to, whatever it is that you want. But what I've learned is that to give it a if you give a more clear prompt, it creates a better output for you, right? And so I cheated in part by using ChatGPT to create a better prompt. And so the first thing I said to it is like, pretend you're an expert level user of the software Lovable, right? So you can actually do that with the AI. So it's kind of placed like a framework, if you will. And then I kind of like just brain dumped what I wanted it to create, right? And I didn't know what to make. And so obviously we do volunteer management software. And so one of the tools we have is a check-in kiosk. And so I was like, hey, what if I just had Lovable create a check-in kiosk, right? That's pretty straightforward. And so, I asked Lovable to create allow easily check-in for kiosks. We're going to need some other features, existing volunteers to find themselves. The app needs to add its, et cetera, right? And so I created this little prompt here. And then I said at the end, please create a structured prompt that I should use with Lovable to create this app. And this is also key. Please let me know if there's any additional details I need to provide you, ChatGPT, to make this prompt even better, right? So Chat is actually really good at saying, the thing you asked me, I could kind of do, but if you answered these 5 questions, I could make it a lot better. And so it only thought for 9 seconds. And then it's like, hey, awesome, use the plugin level, expert level prompt. You can paste in a Lovable. And it's like, blah, blah, blah. There's a goal, primary users, core flow. I didn't read any of this. I read none of this. I just like, all right, I was like, great. I have a copy and pastable thing. And look, there's like like what looks like kind of coding related stuff. I don't code. I don't know any of this. I just like, okay, I'm going to copy and paste this. But at the bottom, one of the nice things it did is like, things I'll provide to remove ambiguity. Fill this in before you run the prompt. And so it's like, which fields do you want to collect? And it gives you a bunch of fields. And like time zone display, it has an idea, duration for rounding, like things I didn't even think about. Like, oh, do I want to round by the nearest minute or the nearest hour? Do you want to check? Do you want to do deduping? Do you want to have some sort of admin authentication? Do you want to, when you export, what kind of format do you want? And so I just answered the questions. I just went one by one and I answered all the questions it asked. So it's like, hey, for new volunteers, please collect first and last name. For the time zone, I was like, I don't know, just use a time zone on the computer, right? Whatever time zones on their computer is fine. Duration, round to nearest seconds, etc. So I just answered these questions to the best of my ability. And then even at the bottom said, for branding, please use this logo for branding colors, right? Et cetera. The language is English. It's all right. And so it's like, hey, awesome, thank you. And then it gave me this prompt. And then basically I just copy and pasted this. I think I did one more pass because at the end it had some final clarifications, right? And I just, answered those things, but the list of questions gets shorter and shorter. But basically then I just copied it and I pasted it all right here. And that's it. And I just like hit run. And so we're not going to wait for it. And so context wise, I spent 3 hours on the weekend to build this. And in those 3 hours, I probably only spent 45 minutes actively working on this. The rest of the time, I was just waiting for the AI to do its thing, right? And so here, let me start at the top, right? So like I said, all I did, I just like copy and pasted it. I even pasted the proper Lovable. Like it was, I was like, oops. But it doesn't matter, right? I just copied and pasted this whole long thing. And, and then Lovable starts to talk to you using its AI. And it says, I'll build a beautiful touch-friendly kiosk with branding. And then it asks for it has different questions. And as it's working, it's like, hey, I found an error with the thing I'm doing. Would you approve? And basically, I just always approve. I'm like, yes, go do it. Go do this, go do that. That sounds great. Do it again. And it made an app, and then I would just test it, right? And so this is what the app looks like. There's a preview, and then you can publish it. And so when I was previewing it, there were some errors, right? I'd be trying to check in, and it'd be like, oh, it looks like I can check in, but like it doesn't show up on the checkout screen, right? And so what I would do is I would say, hey, let me find the quote here. And basically, yeah, so here, right, let me fix, I would ask it to do different things, and it would react and make edits to it, right? And so, it's like, hey, this doesn't look right. The logo wasn't the right one. I was like, hey, can you update the logo? And it would like update the logo. Would you like, could you, um, ask me like, please finish the rest of the app, right? So that would be something, it says, hey, I'm going to stop. Here's like a first draft. I have these other things to do still. You want me to finish it? I was like, yes, please finish it. Um, and so as it finished, then, then I could ask it for additional questions. I could approve like things that it suggested. Um, and let me see. And then the last thing is it did this on its own. I didn't even ask it, but it actually did a quote unquote comprehensive security review on the app we made to make sure that it was not hackable. People couldn't get access to it in a way that's weird. And it would fix all the issues that it made in the app to fix those security needs. And so again, at the end of the day, I spent about 3 hours. So this is what it looks like. Pretty straightforward, right? You can check in. And so if you're a new volunteer, and so let's say my name is Susu, right? I'm a brand new volunteer. It's susu@gmail.com. And she's, can consent to getting, volunteering news. Register and check in. It's like, hey, welcome for registering. You're now checked in, right? Let's say, imagine we have other volunteers showing up, right? And I could say, Jim Doe is here, and he's going to click check in. Welcome back, Jim, right? At the end of the day, they go to check out, right? And look at, there's Jim. Mason, my son's been checked in for a while, but let's say we're going to check out Jim. Duration, obviously very short, 0 hours, 0 minutes, right? Ready to check out. Sure, let's check out. Right? And now Jim is checked out. And the crazy thing is, it even built me an admin dashboard. And so I actually, let me log out. So you even have a login for it, right? And so it built all of this, again, in 3 hours, right? With like very little, sort of minimal work required on my end, right? And so we're not going to remember password. But if I go back here, it has this whole dashboard it created. And it's like, here's all the recent activity. You could see a list of all your volunteers, whether they're active or not. Here's your, all the sessions. You could force people to check out as an admin. And then one of the things I wanted is, hey, can you export this? And so it has an export feature, and you can export it to a CSV. And so if you're a small nonprofit, right, this could actually fit a lot of your needs. You have a little iPad, right, and people can check in and out. Or maybe if you're, I was even thinking if you're like a co-working location, right, you create a little check-in app, right, and track that time. And so super, super fun, I would say, right, in terms of creating something like this. It's super fulfilling if you have an idea in your mind. Now, is this as robust as it can be? Is it going to be sustainable, like sustainably usable for the long term? That's all TBD, right? I think what this is really great for is kind of one-off apps that are internal, especially, right? So you say, hey, I always wished I had the tool to do this, right? And I'm gonna go. You could just make it in a couple hours on Lovable, right? It's remarkably easy, and so I'm gonna be definitely exploring and playing more with this, and create little like dashboards and things like that for myself. You could even build on this, right? So Susu was using ChatGPT to do research around people that you could know, and Susan too, right? Using Copilot or Chat. One of the issues is like, hey, is this the latest and greatest information, right? You could build what we call a scraper on Lovable, right? And it could be something simple. You just put in the web address, and it goes through the web address and it finds all the most recent people along with their email or phone number that it could find, right? And that could be a way to leverage, both what Susu and Susan were doing, but then adding this layer that really refines and says, hey, I now have the latest, at least based on their website, of all their contact information, right? And so there's lots of little widgets that you can create like this. And so, yeah, hopefully this is enlightening. Hopefully people enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. So I'll pause there. I see there's a bunch of questions. And so let me see if,
Yeah, Gong, there was a question about whether it's free when you publish Lovable.
yes. So I believe it limits how many requests you could put into it on a daily basis, right? Like how much work it's willing to do for free. And then it's $25 a month. So I did end up, because I wasn't going to wait till the next day to fiddle with it.
Mhm.
If you have time, you could just be like, all right, I got to like here today, tomorrow I'll come back and I'll have like a refreshed number of credits I can use for free. For $25, it gives you what they call 100 credits. And I have still, after building all of this, um, let's see, it'll tell me, yeah, I still have 64 credits left, right? Like, that's, that's, I
That's
could build 3 apps, right? with the 100 credits. So um, it's relatively affordable, right? Like imagine you're like, hey, if you could create your own software to do this, would you be willing to pay $25 to do it? And you're like, yeah, you know, and
and
you can share
Courtney
it with your
has
team.
yeah. Courtney has a question of whether she can upgrade a website. So instead of building it from scratch, can you update it?
I believe other tools can help you do that. Lovable itself, I think, is a little bit more of a walled garden. And so it could create brand new websites for you from scratch and just say like, hey, build me a website doing da 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 da. It's much better at doing that than it is to say, take this existing thing and make it better. Now, what you could do, right, is you could have it build the website and you could copy all the HTML, CSS and put it into your own website. Or even if you don't really mind that it's not technically, because you could host Lovable on your website, right? And so you can have a page that Lovable built that's backslash donations, right? It's all powered by Lovable on that just one page. And all the links and the headers and everything still go back to all the relevant pages, right? So I think there's some ways to kind of stick it in there without it being exact, without it being sort of fully integrated, if you will.
And Solange has a question about once it's built, do we have to pay to keep it alive, active?
I don't believe so. Like if you publish it, it publishes to your site, right? And so there's no, as far as I could tell, there's no upkeep costs, or there's very minimal upkeep costs associated here. Because you have to remember they also build lots of free apps and they host them all for free too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean yeah, so I've not seen any pricing for that in terms of once you have it built, if but I think the idea is again, it's like most things, as your browser updates and as things update around your app, you're gonna have to update it. And so you might end up having to go back into Lovable to have it say, hey, can you update this? I saw that Chrome has a new update and it broke XYZ thing. Please fix that. And I'll be like, oh yeah, let me look at this. And it's like, yes, I see the error now, and I'm gonna go and try and fix it. So, and it does a good job of talking to you and kind of communicating its steps and kind of what it's working on and what it's doing. And so, that felt really nice too. So I feel like they did I could see why they're the fastest growing tech company. It's easy to demo, easy to try out, and it's a lot of fun.
That's great, Gaunt. I think the hardest thing is to come up with all the prompts, right? That seems like the time you spent the most.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. The initial of the 45 minutes, I think I spent 30 minutes on this part of it, right? On within chat and saying, typing it in. But that's why I think AI can be really helpful generating that prompt for you, because it can ask you questions that you don't even think about to make the prompt better. Right? And so I found that to be very helpful.
Susan wants to know whether you can create an event registration page.
Like,
I'm sure, yes.
awesome.
Yes.
So we don't have to give our data to a third-party company for an event.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use it. I just learned something from you.
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
too.
for sure. Now, the downside, of course, right, is like, okay, why would you pay for something like Civic Champs if I can have my own checking kiosk, I could create my own, right? Like, it's a legit question. I think,
Yeah.
the main thing, right, that there's two things, right? One is that the data doesn't flow together, right? And as complexity increases, it gets harder and harder for these platforms to be robust and stable. Because one of the things that happens is, as you do more vibe coding, is if you're really into it, sometimes you just have to scrap the whole the project as is, right, and start fresh again, because the database you created that first time, it just can't, isn't set up in a way that can support maybe the next, thing that you wanted to, attach or to make it do. And so you have to start over again. But even with that, like, I talked to a lot of my founder friends, our ability from a V to get from a, to get to a V1 is so much faster, right? So something like what I just showed you, historically, that would have taken a week probably for a developer to create. Um, even tearing it all down and rebuilding it, right? I could do that 3 times in a day, right? And now I'm at and at some point you need real engineers to actually dig in and figure things out. But yeah, I think it's really great for widgets, small projects, or as like a proof of concept, right? You have this idea, it's like, hey, could I have a proof of concept, and could someone try and fiddle with it? Do people actually like it? And you quickly get lots of feedback. And if that turns out to be good, then that's maybe when you hire a real team and build the whole thing, right? So sorry, I was very excited about this, if you can't tell.
Yeah. Solange has a question about whether Lovable can use you can use it to design a banner. And I think the answer is yes, you can, but there are a lot of other programs that can do that. I mean, ChatGPT can do that, and Canva definitely make
Canva.
very good
Yeah.
graphics. Yeah.
Right. And Canva's free for all nonprofits, which is fantastic. And Canva's, and that's the other thing with these tools today, is if you can use this the specific tool, it's just going to do a better job, right? So Canva's there to create digital, art assets or graphics, and so it's just going to do a better job than ChatGPT or even Lovable is on the same task, right? Because that's what it's trained to do, right? Like if you think about the training that these AIs go through, that is being trained to do a specific task, and so it's going to be better at it. Great. So I'll stop sharing for now. Actually, I'll put this, this is a live app. So if you folks you won't get access to this backend necessarily, but if people just want to fiddle around with it, I can, I'll put this in chat so you can play with it and take a look at sort of the world of the possible in 3 hours.
Yeah, these have been amazing demos. I'm kind of curious between all of you. The question is open to all of you. Like, what have been like the most common use cases that you've seen with the nonprofits or the organizations you work with? Like the most common use cases in using these different tools? Like what types of things are they building most commonly on Lovable, for example? Or yeah, I guess that's kind of what I'm curious about.
Yeah, and the way I'll answer it from Techsoup's perspective, and the way that the free version will work the same for this, although again, the paid version, what makes it better is it remembers your previous searches and it indexes your entire organization's docs. But the most common usage I have seen is funder research. So where can I find a funder who has a rolling grant cycle for this specific type of nonprofit at this specific time? It's great for that. And the Copilot will work for that, even though again, I'm drafting social posts, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, I have never seen anyone use a lovable or vibe coding.
Mm.
Uh,
Even among founders, right? It's a relatively new tool that people are just now starting to explore and use.
oh, yeah. I don't know if you mentioned it. When did you start on Lovable, Geng?
Also very recent, like
Oh, okay.
within the last couple months sort of thing. I mean, the company's only been around for like I want to say 6 or 9 months, maybe a year. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Very
Um,
nascent.
and they but they brought in $1 million in recurring revenue in 1 week. Is how fast it grew, right? It's like people are like, oh my God, this is amazing. Let me pay for this. Yeah, but I think it'll become, this is something I know a lot of schools are thinking about even, right? As you think about STEM education, right? This is another path for people to be sort of technically competent without having to necessarily learn coding per se, but you can have kids start to build their own things and really empower them to say, hey, you too can design and create.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
One thing I want to mention is that you can always tell when someone uses AI or ChatGPT, like you get all the icons and it's very formal. So don't take the first draft and make sure you delete all the icons.
Yeah, it's always good to think of it as an intern. Like, and you can
Yeah.
also correct it and it will learn. Like you can say,
Yeah.
that's not really my tone. Here's an email that is 100% my voice, and you can copy and paste it and dump it in and say, now rewrite it in that tone, and that works.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, I think that's like pretty crucial to keep in mind that it's still a robot, I guess, technically. Like, I don't know if yet it's like fully intuitive like a human mind, right? It's not like as refined as a human brain. So it's like, maybe I'll try to like finesse this a little bit. Yeah, it takes some finessing, right? Yeah, to make it more unique. But
Could
it is
be.
easy to at least generate content or generate something at scale, right? To start somewhere and move a little quicker to scale.
And
Yeah, those are
Candace, I feel your pain. I mean, it uses M dashes because the good, quote unquote, good writers were using M dashes. So you must be a good writer. And now you're being copied. So,
yeah, that's
Me
funny.
too. I use them too. But one thing also that generative AI does is it's very effusive. So it'll say the incredible webinar that we produced, and it's like you gotta really give it a refine and make it like less embarrassingly effusive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please be more human.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these have really been great insights. I don't know if anybody else has any other questions for our panelists here today, or if our panelists would like to share one last piece of wisdom to our audience in using AI to enhance their fundraising.
I will just say that we have a lot of resources, educational resources, that we as a team, the three of us, Susu, Gong, and I, that we will be sharing in the follow-up notes. We created a list of our favorite tools that do this, so you guys can learn from that. And we have a lot of oh yeah, find me on LinkedIn. It's just my name. I'm easy to find too. And hit me up. And we have a lot of educational resources on this and webinars that are archived on using AI for nonprofits as well on TechSoup.
and TechSoup, I'll give a shout out to TechSoup too, right? Because nonprofits are always looking for discounts and deals, and TechSoup is the best site for that. It's you can find all sorts of awesome deals, whether that's Copilot or Civic
Civic
Champs.
Champs. Yeah.
Usually we don't promote that because like, I don't know, like if they define, but we want to support the sector. And so, yeah, TechSoup, if you haven't checked them out, please do that, just truly amazing ways to save costs.
And learn. We're not
And
just
learn.
yeah,
And learn.
we're a
Yes.
nonprofit ourselves. So it's about not just acquisition of products, but adopting them and learning about how to use them in tech in
Yeah.
general.
Mhm.
And I
Absolutely.
put my email information. If you need any help, feel free to email me if any questions. We're a full service marketing agency when we work a lot with nonprofits and state government as well. And this has
Wonderful.
been fun, and I'll continue to use AI. I think it's getting better and better and smarter
Yeah.
and smarter.
Yeah, for
Kind
sure.
of scary at some point, right? Where they're going to be humans. But
They're
not
going
yet.
to be. They're on their way.
They're
Yeah.
on their way.